if we go to the Mobile County website, all right, we'll go to our staff. Academic Affairs. ELA K5. Isn't it pretty? Okay, so most of what's going to be of interest to you is right here on the 5th grade button, but let me show you a couple other things too. This one is going to be a good one for a lot of people. This one is videos. Any video I've made of how to do something for reading is going right here, including the June principals meeting, because I went through the pacing guide and principles on that one. I'm not going to post the one from this morning, but I might post the one from right now if I do a better job right there. So that's available to you. This button, even though it says admin, it might be of interest to you because what we did this summer, a group of teachers took the teacher's editions and they made a list for principals of what they could expect to see at any given time in a classroom. And so they did one for Start Smart, which is these upcoming 2 weeks, where you will, it's in the teacher's book, you're going to teach your kids how to have collaborative conversations and how to be independent in centers and all of that stuff. If I go to that Start Smart list on here, you can see that for any component of Start Smart, we have listed what the teacher should be doing and what the student should be doing so the principal will know what it should look like. We let them know that they're not going to observe all of these when they go to a room. They're only going to observe one, because this is just a moment in time in your classroom. And we even told them, hey, you couldn't see all of these unless you stayed all 10 days with a teacher. There's no way to see them all. This is not like a checklist or an observation tool. It just lets the principals know what they can expect to see. We even went so far, ladies and gentlemen, to put in the small groups one that the teacher may be staying out of the student's way just so they can learn how to be independent. Because I know when I was teaching, I know that's what I did. I would time kids on how long they could last in centers before somebody messed up. And that was always interesting because nobody made it to a minute the first time. And we just kept doing that until they built their stamina and independence. But if I was working with a group, I had no way of knowing who was being independent and who wasn't. I needed to stay out of their way so they could learn to be independent. So we've even put that in there because not all your principals have elementary backgrounds. That's there for them, but it's also there for you so you can see what they might be looking for. If I go back, the other one for 5th grade is for the rest of the year. And it shows them what should be happening during, well, even collaborative conversations then, but during a vocabulary lesson or during close reading, when kids are citing text evidence. It shows them that, so you can see what they're looking for when it comes in. Okay, let me show you where the pacing guide is. And I'm not going to go over it in detail, but I'm going to go over it enough where you know some basics, okay? So, on the 5th grade page, the instructional planning guide is in the list, but it's also here at the top. In the first page of the planning guide for every single grade level is a page where I put updates of all the mistakes I've corrected since I've put it up there, and I'll put the date and time. So if you print it out and then later I say, hey, half the planning guide's wrong, if you printed before this date, you'll know. So, first of all, you as 5th grade teachers, you will have 7 school days to teach each week of Wonders. Okay? The reason we did that is because we got a lot of feedback from you guys. Actually, 2nd through 5th will be that way. The 3rd day, the day when you do close reading, a lot of people said, we just can't get all that done in a day. and I don't see how you could. I mean, that way, you have 2 days to do close reading, you've got a day for the read part, and you've got a day for the reread part. So that's one day that we added. The other day that we added so that you have more time to assess your kids. Because a lot of you said, you know what, on the weeks we don't have to assess, we can get it in. But on the weeks we have to assess, we can't. So you have a 7-day week now. If I scroll down in this pacing guide, there is a day-by-day guide on here that tells you kind of what you should be doing each day. But we also put on here that you have the freedom and flexibility to do everything within that 7-day period as you see fit for your class. So we do have estimated times and what should probably happen, but it's up to you, okay? You can use this page, it's very generic, you can use it as your lesson plans. Ms. Moore has approved that. The following page for that is where you write down what small group lessons you're doing that week in centers. Okay, so you have a 7-day week. That's big news. Other big news, no CFAs in reading anymore. I know. Okay, so instead of that, you are going to give the Wonders weekly assessments each time you complete a week of instruction. And it makes it very confusing that McGraw-Hill calls a group of lessons a week because you have 7 school days, which is longer than a week. So a group of lessons in Wonders, at the end of each 7-day week, you will give a test. Okay, and it's the test from Wonders, it's the McGraw-Hill test. You will be required to turn in data from those tests. And I'm going to show you an easy-ish way to do that. Some people think it's easy, and some people think I'm crazy, and they're both right. Once a month, you'll have to report data, and I'll show you that in just a minute. This schedule that you see up on the screen right now, this is when the data is due each month. So at the end of the month, you'll have to turn in data from specific tests. Yes, ma'am? No. There will be a Google form, and it'll come to me. So, yes, that's a good question. You'll just fill out a Google form, and I'm going to do one of those for you today so you can see what it looks like. You'll do 6 major grades, 3 minor grades. The tests from Wonders count as major grades. So, in quarters 2 and 3, you'll give 6 Wonders tests. That's all your major grades. First quarter and fourth quarter, you'll have to add some more stuff. It's up to you what you do. You are allowed to use the selection tests. You can't use more than 2 per quarter, and you do have to let the kids look at the text if you use it. That is all written in the planning guide. I tried to put everything in the planning guide because when I inherited this position, I kept having these moments of, oh, by the way, did you know that they have to do? No, I didn't know. I did not know. There's this one pager floating out there somewhere that everybody knows about but me. I tried to put everything in the planning guide so that everything's together. I did not succeed, but I got most of it in there. So it's a very long document. Reteach, retest, it will come up, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about it. Reteach, retest, it only applies to major summative grades, which will be the Wonders weekly tests, okay? And any other major grade you do. Students scoring 60 and below need to have a period of reteaching. And I'm going to show you something really cool in a minute because Wonders actually has reteaching lesson plans, like available. They're ready to go. Now, students will be administered the entire test on which the score was 60 or below. They may retake the original test because it would be really hard to duplicate one of those tests. So they may retake their original test. They can't receive a retest grade higher than 70. Reteaching and retesting must be completed within the quarter the test was originally administered. Reteaching and retesting should occur within 5 to 7 days of the original test. Retesting, this is very important, retesting may only occur once. That's it. You can reteach them all you want. You can reteach them all year. but you can only retest them one time. The goal of reteach retest is not to increase their grade. There's this misconception out there that that's what it's for. It's not the goal. The goal is that they get the skill. So you can retest you can reteach all you want, but you can only retest one time. End of quarter tests will never be retested. You cannot do reteach retest on EQTs. Okay. Keep going. I'm not going to go over that. Your principal will go over that with you. And okay, I'm going to go over this in just a minute. This is a decision tree, but before I do that, all right, these are blank calendars to help you plan out your year. On the blank calendars, I have on the side when data is due to me. And so if data is due to me on a certain month, you have to have completed that, given the test, and graded all the papers. You've got to give yourself enough time to do that. So what I did, I've got the blank one so you can make out your own calendar, but I gave you an example because I like examples. So on the example one, if it's in my handwriting, you can change it. You can make it longer or shorter or whatever you want to do, but that way you can see kind of the relationship between 7 days worth of lessons and what the data is due. If it's typed, you can't change it. If it's in my handwriting, you can change all you want. We're trying to give y'all more flexibility, but still kind of keep some structure in there. We are trying. Okay, I'll come back to that later too. Questions so far? Yes, ma'am. The unit test, that's a good question. I'm so glad you asked that. Okay, so EQT 2 will be the Unit 2 test. EQT 3 will be the Unit 3 test, and EQT 4 will be the Unit 4 test. All of them with the grammar taken out. Okay, just the reading stuff. Unit 1, or EQT 1, the only reason we're not using Unit 1 for it is because you won't get through all the lessons in the unit before EQT time. Like you'll get through Unit 1 week 4, and there's another week. Now, here's the good news though, y'all. I had a team of teachers this summer who put together resources, and they said, hey Amber, can we make an EQT 1 test out of the Unit 1 test, just take out all the week 5 stuff? And I said, sure. And so they made one for you, and it's going to be available in PrintShop. Yay! If you see any of those summer team members, you need to hug their neck because they did all kinds of cool things for you. But yes, that's the EQT stuff. And we've even taken the grammar out of the Unit 2, 3, 4 tests, and those will be on the PrintShop catalog also. Other questions? Yes, okay. EQT 2 is Unit 2, EQT 3 is Unit 3, EQT 4 is Unit 4. All three of those, though, take the grammar questions out. The first EQT, we originally said that y'all need to make it out, but we've made one for you if you want to use it, and it'll be in the PrintShop catalog eventually. It's not there now. Actually, it is. It's just hidden from you for now. Y'all, I have a teacher's heart, and so I really tried to help out. We have done all kinds of stuff for you, and I wish it was already, but it's not. We've got a lot of it on there, but not all of it. So one of those things is the PrintShop stuff. It's not on there yet, but it will be very soon. Any other questions? Okay, so let me show you something else my summer team did that you're really going to like. So, if you go back to this pretty page, and you go to 5th grade, the folder at the top, this one that says Compiled Wonders Resources, you will like this folder. Go to that folder. We decided that the ConnectEd website has a million wonderful things. Okay? It's got like 15 books full of stuff that you can look at each week to get stuff. But when you're teaching, you don't have time to look through 15 books every week. And so what we did, for each week of instruction, let's go to Unit 2, week 4. We made PDF documents that had all of the stuff that we could possibly find on ConnectEd in one document. Now, when you look at this, when it looks like this on the internet, it's not the best. This is a preview. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to download it. And then I'm going to push this little button right here, the little arrow, and I'm going to say show in folder, so I'll know where it is. Show in folder. That's what you want. And it will show it in a folder. And here's the folder. There it is. I'm going to minimize this other stuff because I'm going to drag it and put it on my desktop so I can find it forever. You can move it somewhere else later, but here it is, 5th, Unit 2, Week 4. And the reason you want to open it on your computer is because when it opens in Adobe, you have all these awesome bookmarks. Okay, so at the top, each week, this is the assessment results page from the previous week. And the reason this is here is because you can look at your kids' tests that need to be retaught, and it tells you exactly what lessons you need to use to reteach your kids if you have any that need to be retaught. Where are these lessons that it references? Well, they're right here. Tier 2 comprehension lessons. Ta-da! And I can scroll down, and there's more of them. And then if I had a Tier 2 vocabulary lesson it talked about, there it is. Oh, y'all, we've got homeschool connection page, we've got the level reader lesson cards, we have got level up cards, we have got the daily reader lesson plans, we have activity cards, the to-do list, all the practice pages, and the practice page answers, grammar answers, close reading answers, stuff from the teacher resource book. If there was anything that applied to the week in the resource book, there it is. It's sorting, and it tells you, see, what are we sorting? We are sorting the words of the week. There they are. It even tells you, what the foldable of the week is. Y'all, it's all there. Week by week. Ta-da! Okay. Like I said, hug those people who worked this summer because they worked their tails off for a crazy person. They are all there in that compiled resources folder for you. Okay, the other thing that's there, I go to 5th grade, and then I go to, there is a folder that says WonderWorks Alternatives. I'm going to talk to you about that folder right now. But in order to understand that folder, you have to understand something called a decision tree, which is in the planning guide. So we'll go back to the planning guide. I'm going to scroll up. There are 2 kinds of decision trees in here. Oh, I said something in the other one like it was common knowledge, and it was not. We are no longer using STAR in Mobile County. So we are not using Aspire anymore. We are, the state is using what used to be Global Scholar. It's now called Scantron. And it's also the program that is free from the state to use, like STAR. Do we know anything about it yet? No, we don't. Has anybody in Mobile been trained on it yet? No. I will be trained sometime in the next week or 2. I don't know. So we won't have any good data really until September. So it's going to be a good program. We just have to learn how to use it. In the meantime, what we're going to do, we do need to make instructional decisions about our kids. And so we have IT pulling all the old started data from the end of last year. And we're going to go based on that data for now. I know that we'll miss some kiddos that way, but we'll get a lot of them this way. Now, I talked to your principals in June about our red and yellow kids in STAR and how we really need to work to reach them. And we came up with a plan of how to do that. And so when you get your data from the end of last year for your kids that you currently have, you're going to look for red and yellow kids. And we're going to want you to make some instructional decisions about small groups, how to teach them in small groups. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'm going to show you a very specific plan because I like when things are outlined for me. If people will just tell me what to do, I'll teach it. Are y'all with me? Okay, so I'm gonna show you what to do. So here's the decision tree, and there's two of them. There's one for if you have the WonderWorks program in your school, and there's one for if you don't. Either way, you're going to do the same process, okay? So for a red student, that student, we are going to call them a priority 1 in Mobile County, okay? If they are a yellow student and they're in the lower range of yellow, we're going to call them priority 2. And if they are in the higher range of yellow, we're going to call them priority 3. What does that mean? That means if I can only meet with one group today because the whole group went wrong, who am I meeting with? Priority 1. If I can only meet with 2 groups, 1 and 2. Very good. Y'all are so, see, I'm telling you, 5th grade, we get each other. All right, so for priority 3, well, actually, hang on. If it's a priority 1 student or a priority 3, priority 1 or priority 2, in order to figure out where to start giving them instruction, we're going to give them something called a spelling inventory, and I'm going to do one of those on the document camera so you can see what it's like. It's not hard. It looks like it would be, but it's not even a little bit. If it's a priority 3 student, you will also give them that spelling inventory, but you only have to give it to them if their DIBEL score is below a certain point. Now, if you don't have DIBELs at your school, some schools have it for 5th grade, some schools don't. If you don't, you can use a fluency passage, and I have it in the pacing guide right after the decision tree. And they need to score a specific score, and that's listed on the decision tree. If they don't score high enough, they need to do this spelling inventory so you can see what foundational skill they need to start instruction in. If they score high in DIBELs, then they can decode. They don't need foundational skills. They just need close reading lessons on their level. So they can go ahead and start. If you have WonderWorks, you'll start using the scaffolded work texts and the level readers that come with the program. If you don't have WonderWorks, I'm going to show you where you can get some level readers for those kids in a little bit. All right. So priority 1, 2, and 3, the 3 students only if they score below DIBELs, you're going to give a spelling inventory. Now, the spelling inventory for Wonders was made by Donald Bayer. Donald Bayer is the guy who wrote Words Their Way. Have any of you used Words Their Way before? Okay, good. That's all it is. This is spelling inventory. I used to give it to all my kids. You're basically giving your kids a spelling test they haven't studied for. That's all it is. I would give it to the whole class, just so they're all doing the activity together. And then you can score them all, or you can just score the red and yellow kids if you want to. That way, they'll all have it. So, let me show you. Actually, let me show you in the pacing guide. At the very bottom of your pacing guide, I have the spelling inventory in there, and I've got the directions. Directions are in there, but what I'm about to tell you is a little less wordy. Then they've got some forms that you could use. You don't have to use all the forms. I'm going to show you that too. And then they've got the part that actually looks like a spelling test, because that's what it is. This is what you're going to give the kids. So let me switch over to this document camera that only likes me sometimes. Okay. All right, so I had a little friend of mine take the spelling test, okay? Her name's Amari. She's precious. I had to rewrite some of her stuff. Not much. And what we're going to do, we're just going to figure out what she, markers. We're going to figure out what she missed. Okay? So, here's the list. Make it bigger. Okay. So, bed, dish, jaw, trap, bump, gate, shore, drain, slight is wrong, reach, soil, ridge is wrong. I mean, it's just a spelling test. Chopped, model, soothing, berries, stumbled, treasures, divinity, renounce, aquarium. Okay, so after you've graded the test, all you need to know is how many are right. So she got 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. She got 14 right. Now, there's an easy way to do this, and there's a way that you can go a little deeper. All right, so from here, what we do, there's a couple of different forms that they have available, but the easiest one is one that looks like this. And it's for 5th grade, you're getting the one that's called the IDSE, because it's the one for elementary. And you're looking at this middle column here, and you're looking for the number that she got right. And she got 14. 14 is not even on this page. Let's go to the next page. It's right here, syllables and affixes. Now, this is important because this is going to give you some information about instructional decisions for her. Let me show you what you do, okay? Remember that, syllables and affixes, the early syllables and affixes. It's inflected endings, consonant doubling, and prefixes and suffixes. Okay. So, what you would do as the teacher from this point, you're going to go to the website, you're going to go to 5th grade, and on the 5th grade page, you will see this document. It says Instructional Recommendations, Spelling Inventory. Instructional Recommendations, Spelling Inventory. And when I pull it up, you're going to see why you need it. Instructional Recommendations, Spelling Inventory. And so, this looks like the page I just showed you on the document camera. If I go to the part that would be syllables and affixes, this is what it said on that sheet before. Let me enlarge it. Right here. And the reason that's important, this part over here on the right, that is the folders that we have on the Mobile County page of activities and lessons on that topic. Now, if you're doing WonderWorks, do whatever they tell you to do from this point. They probably have lessons lined up like this one. But for those of you who don't have WonderWorks, once you know that this is the category the child is in, you can go find these folders on the Mobile County page and use those lessons to teach. So, I'm going to leave this one up so I can come back to it, but it says structural analysis, and it's got 1, 5, 6, 2 through 4, it's got through 10, I think. So if I go to the 5th grade page, and then I go to WonderWorks Alternatives. Now if you do WonderWorks, do whatever WonderWorks tells you to do. But if you don't have it, or you just want more stuff, you're going to go to 4th and 5th grade foundational skills, that folder. And what did it say? It said structural analysis. That's the folders. So we're going to go to structural analysis. And then have files on each of the different kinds. So if I look at that again, it's got 1 through 10 in that category. So I can pull up any of these lessons between 1 and 10 and find lessons to teach Miss Amari. I'm going to do what I did before. I'm going to download it so that I can see. Show in folder. Let me drag it to my desktop. And if you see over here, there's bookmarks of the different lessons that she could use. There's word lists, there's practice pages, there's answer keys ready to go so that you can give her some foundational skills lessons where she needs it. Now, there are more folders. Like if you had somebody who tested a lot lower in foundational skills, you might have gone to the phonics folder. There's a ton of phonics stuff in there. If you have somebody even lower, you could go to, instead of going to 5th grade, you could go to like 2nd or 3rd grade. And they even have, if you have somebody who's very, very low, they've got a folder in theirs for phonemic awareness and phonological awareness if you need it. So there's plenty of resources there for you, and this spelling inventory gives you a good starting place. If you want to go deeper than this with the spelling inventory, you can. There is a page that looks like this. Okay, this page. What you would do with this, you would take Miss Amari's page, and what you do, you put a dot next to everything she gets correct. Now, you're probably not going to be able to see this from where you are, but I'm going to do it right quick, and this is recording, so you can come back to it if you need it. But she got the F, the D, and the E in fed. That was correct. D, I, and SH in dish. I'm just putting dots next to everything that she got right in the words. Once you get to something that she did not get correct, you're going to circle it. And she actually did much better than I thought she was going to. So she got the SL in slight, but she did not get the IGHT. She thought it was ITE. She got that. For foil, she got F and L, but she got that too. She did not get IDGE in ridge. She got CHOED and PP in that one. What you're looking for as you grade, you are looking for when they mess up more than once in a column. So she didn't get that. She did get that. Okay, so at this point, she's messed up twice in this column right here. She's actually done very well. She probably wouldn't need a lot of foundational skills instruction, but once you see that she's missed two things in a column, this category is other vowels. That tells you more specifically where you might want to start instruction with her, rather than just the overall category. The only time you would really need to do this is when you have a kid and you've given them the spelling inventory, you did the easy form, and it just doesn't seem like a good fit when you get them in instruction. And so something's not right. You can go back to the test they've already taken and do this breakdown, and sometimes you can find them that way. I used to do that. I used to do this for all my kids because I was always shocked at what the gifted kids didn't get. And I was nosy and wanted to see what they could do. So you can do this with all your kids, but we only ask that you do it with the red and yellow ones. Okay. So that's spelling inventories, decision trees, foundational skills folders. There's only one other thing in decision trees I want to tell you about. And that is, I told you those kids that need the close reading on their level. All right. So if you have Wonderworks at your school, then you won't have to worry about this. But if you don't, these priority 3 kids who scored well on a Dibbles passage, they can do close reading, but they need it on their level. So what do? Here's what you do. You go to 5th grade, and you go to the Wonderworks Alternatives folder, and then you go to level readers. And what my summer team did, for every single week, they pulled any level readers that would be on the Lexile level of a yellow star student so that you can use that level reader to teach close reading. And they even put a level reader lesson card with it. So let's go to Unit 3, Week 3. Usually there's a bunch of level readers in there. Sometimes there's only one. They give you a list at the top that tells you what grade level or what Lexile level they are. It's taking a little while to download. Oh wow. So these level readers are on the skill of the week. So they've got a level reader card there so you can teach close reading. And then they've got the actual level reader in there. It's a PDF file so you can print it. And those are available. They even tell you at the top in the list what grade level that level reader came from, because they had to go to some lower grade levels to find those. But they have for every week at least one level reader you could use to teach the skill of the week, close reading, on those kids' level. Sound good? Good deal. All right, so moving on, let's talk about when you turn in data to me. What you'll do, here's what I need to know. Each week on the test, it's going to test like 2 or 3 skills. And I need to know how many questions were missed in your class for each skill. I tried to come up with a way to get that information from you guys in the easiest way I could possibly think of. And so I'm going to show you how you can grade your papers once and get that information at the same time, okay? Now, it's a form, okay? You don't have to use the form. If you don't like the form, don't use it. But if it's helpful to you, use it, okay? Here is my form. And I've got a bunch of fake student papers. Okay. This form is not online. I've emailed the document to your lead data teacher at your school, and they're going to share the files with you. They're also going to be available in the print shop catalog. But I thought you might like the file because since it's Excel, you could do your kids' names one time and then copy and paste. On this form, the information I need from you is at the bottom in this box, okay? Now, on the front side of this page, it looks like this. On the back, it has the answer key for all the open-ended and writing questions, okay? And flip that back over. Now, if I look at a fake student's paper, and who's next on my list? See, you can tell that I've been grading and marking. I'm to Allie's paper. So, what time is it? Okay. Here is Allie's paper. And what I would do first is I would grade the open-ended questions. So I'm going to turn over on the back. And I'm going to use that to grade this part. And I'm going to do it really fast because I'm running out of time. So I actually graded this one and the other one too. So she actually got those two right. The writing for her is on the back, and I will tell you that she did not answer the question. She just wrote the question down and put a period at the end, so she did not get that one right. Now, here's the parts that you need to pay attention to. You need to train your kids to, this is a bubble sheet for them, you need to train them to fold the paper on this line so you won't have to do it. Now, this page lines up perfectly with this page. And so when you mark something wrong, you mark it on here and on here at the same time. The answer key is, it's hard to do this with a microphone. The answer key is down here. So I can watch when I grade one, when I mark one wrong, I'm going to mark it on this page and this page.
Okay, so, gosh. Okay, here's Allie. So D, 1B is A. So it's gonna, I'm gonna mark it here and here. 2 is C. 3, it should be A, D, E, and it's not, so I'm gonna mark it wrong. Now,
that one was ADE. You could give Allie on her paper partial credit for that one, but for the sake of central office, you would mark it wrong, because it's wrong.
4 is D. 5 was this one, it was correct. 6A should be A. 6B is A, so I mark it wrong. D, that one's right. That one's right. C is right, and then the 11 on the back was wrong, so I marked it there.
And for the grade will be different than the grade submitted to central office.
Well, it won't be a grade. You're just telling me which ones were missed.
Okay.
So yeah, we're just getting a percentage. Yes.
Yeah, she asked, can the grade be different on Allie's paper than it is that when you report it to us? You're not going to report her grade to me. You're just going to let me know how many was missed in your class. Okay? So that was Allie's. Now if I do Quincy's, then let me say this about writing questions, because I know it's going to come up. Quincy did an adequate job of answering the question. Okay? But Quincy did not give me enough text evidence. So I would dock a couple of points for that, because I know Quincy and I know that he knows how to get evidence. I just know Quincy's too lazy to give evidence, and he's supposed to. So I can take points off on his paper, but if I look at the question and the standard, he really got it right. So when you report it to central office, he understands the standard. Does that make sense? You can give that one to him on our paper. So 11 is right for him. Yes. On the original test, yes. Not if you have to retest, I don't need to know the retest stuff. I just need to know the original.
Right. And I don't want y'all to have to wait either. All right. So I'm going to grade Quincy's just so you can see again what I'm doing. Okay. 1A, D, 1B, A. 2 is C, so I'm going to mark it here and here. 3, A, D, E, 4, D, 5. Actually, I know we got that wrong. 6A, 6B, 7D, 8's wrong. BC.
All right. Does it make sense where I'm getting these marks from? That part is clear. Okay. So I'm going to pretend like I've graded these 3 guys' papers, and I can remember in the other group Bart had a really hard time, and I can remember Alex missed one, and David missed a whole bunch because David had a bad day. Okay. Now here's the part that is supposed to make your life easier. Because remember I told you the information that I need is the information in this box down here. You with me so far? Okay, this is a whole class worth of this particular test. Okay, this is Unit 2, Week 5. All right. In order to tell me how many figurative language, similes, and metaphor questions were missed in your class, what you need to do, do you see that this one is light gray? All right. Do you see how some of these are light gray? You count all the ones that were missed that were light gray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Your class missed 14 similes and metaphor questions. I counted all the gray ones. Okay? For point of view, and if there's any question, it tells you exactly which test numbers you're looking at. Okay? For this one, for point of view, I'm going to count all the ones that are white. Does that make sense? I lost some people in another group at this point. Okay, all the ones that are white, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So 29 were missed in that category. All right. This one, I know you probably can't see it from where you are, but it has polka dots on it. And the polka dots won't come up very often, but when there's a random skill, every once in a while polka dots will come up. And it's just the ones from number 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of those were missed. And then the writing question is the dark gray down here at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the only one that's like random, we will ask about these text evidence ones. They're almost always going to be the answer B choice of an A-B question. So on this test, they want all the ones from 1B and 6B. They've actually already been included in this question too, but it assesses 2 different standards, so we want to know. So for 1B and 6B, so here's 1B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, here's 6B, 8, 9, 10. So 10 of those were missed. And I had 19 kids take the test. Okay, let me show you how to get from here to what you need to report. I'm going to show you what a Google form will look like. The Google form will come to you either from me or from the lead data person at your school. And the lead data person at your school doesn't have them yet because I haven't sent them yet because there's no time. But there will be links each month to Google Forms. They're not there yet, but they will be. And where did I put my link? It's right here. All right. Now, the one that I just did was a 4th grade test. It was Unit 2, Week 5. Now, let me say this to you. Unit 2, Week 5, I'm pretty sure is taught in December, but I don't know that teachers would have enough time to grade it in December because I think it ends during that last week of craziness in December. So I don't ask for it to be reported until January. So here's what I'm going to suggest to you. You're only going to report once a month, but you're going to have more of these each month than just one. So if I were you, I would not only have a special folder for this to live in until you can report your data, I would take a picture of it with my phone. Because if there's one thing I'm not going to lose, it's my phone. Okay? That's the best advice I can give you. This is also good for like accountability stuff if you want it. But you don't have to use it if you don't want to. But here's the data form. The first page is just going to ask for your first and last name. That's the name. And then this is Unit 2, Week 5, which is the one we just did. So the first thing it wants to know, let me see if I can get this and that on the same page. Just a second. So it wants to know how many tests were given. Well, that's that on my data sheet. 19. I'm doing so good so far. Okay, so number 2, it asks for figurative language, similes, and metaphors. You know where that is? Right there on the page. It says figurative language, similes, and metaphors. And when I counted all the gray boxes, I got 14. 14. Point of view, that's right there. That was that white box. When I counted all my white boxes, I got 29. 29. Character setting and plot, that was the polka dots. I got 5 of them. And then writing, that was this gray one. I got 6 of those. And then text evidence, I got 10 of those. The only other thing it's going to ask, and the reason it's going to ask this, you remember on this page, you remember I told you Bart and David, they both had a bad day? And it's possible that Bart and David had a lot of bad days. But I need to know which kids had a score less than 60 before retesting. I don't want anything after retesting. I want to know who had a bad day. The reason is, when we look at the data at central office, if I know a couple of kids had a bad day, I can kind of glean that from your percentage so you get a better picture of what your whole class looks like. So I'm going to put Bart, he had a 34, and David, poor David, had a 29. And then the other group said, hey, if we want to, can we, like, put a note that they're special ed or IEP or PSC? Yeah, sure, that's fine. If that will help us know what we're looking at, go ahead. That'd be great. I mean, David, he is special. He's all kinds of special. And that's all I need from each test. Now, if I hit next, it's going to ask for the next group of data. So I would need to get out my next sheet like this. But that's what we would ask for. We will not ask for one of these for EQTs. We will just ask who made below 60 and what strategies do you need to work on with them. That's all we'll ask. Yes, ma'am. I don't think it'll let you, but let me play around with it and see. She wanted to know, is there a way to enter it and get it to save and come back? I don't think that that's possible, but let me play around with it. If I figure out a way to do that, I'll make a video and let y'all know. That's for every weekly test. Weekly test, yes. Which happens every 7 days. My time with you is actually coming to a close. I did much better with y'all. I think it's because you're 5th grade. I really do. And y'all are my people. If you need anything, email me. I do not mind. That is what I'm here for. If at any time you think, hey, I'm having a problem with this, and it looks like something Amber probably would have made a video for, go to videos. See if I made one. I'll probably make a bunch this week. That's a really good tool to help you. I'll be hanging around for a little while if any of you need to ask anything else.